Now he just taped on the top part there just to cover up that. So now it's a complete box versus a part of a box.
Exactly.
All right.
All right. The next step in building a blue sword is we're going to wrap over the tip. Now that we built our box, we're going to essentially wrap a layer of foam all the way around the sword like so. We're going to do that twice in order to make it effective.
Tape is the best thing.
Now I've cut my
God forbid anyone be like you.
my blade.
Oh, that actually hurt.
Good.
I'm
Teach
kidding.
you to sass our president.
Oh, I'm gonna sass you no matter what.
Well, then he's gonna keep kicking you.
Notice he's putting on the first outer layer along the box. Very, yeah, explicit. Pretty boring, you can skip it, but recording it just in case you need a visual.
Yeah, we can record for the final visual especially. Alright, so now I've got a little tail. I usually make it so that I have one just so that I have some extra. And I just cut off the tail.
And look at how beautiful that looks.
Press all foam.
Once again, compression, compression, compression. You want it to stay together as much as it can. Notice how he is compressing it. Also, can I get an inside view of the sword? Notice how it's pretty tight along the inside layer, like right along here. You want it like that because that's keeping it closer to the core, and that's going to prevent you from hurting people. It's also going to just shield better, and so on and so forth. And once your weapon's holding together better, that'll make you, actually be able to use your weapons.
Very nice.
And he's just smoothing it down, making sure everything's good right now.
Shave down.
There's specific tape I'm supposed to use.
Alright.
And now you just do the process again, basically, with another layer. So that's what he's going to do right now, is just make another layer all around the sword, so you have your second layer. Second verse, same as the first, basically. Please note Cameron is recutting his edge because he went to make his second layer and it did not seem to fit right. So as Cameron just said, don't make it work, make it right. Because it's going to save you a lot of time and energy if you just do it right, and money, if you just do it right the first time or the second time, or just as long as you get it as good as you can the first time. If you're questioning it, check with somebody. Yeah. And you can always redo a second strip. We can save the other strip. It's not a big deal as long as, you didn't completely mess it up. But just make sure you do your best when making a sword. And now he will inspect the quality. Notice how she's got the black marking along. That's drawn alongside the sword just because she's not as used to making swords as Cameron is, who's been doing this for a lot of years. And it's helpful to do it just to make sure.
Alright, so we've got our 2 layers of foam here over the blade. And this is a finished blue sword unless you want to add a stabby tip, which is what we'll be doing next.
Once again, compress that layer as well as the first one.
It's all been
Always
compressed
compress.
down. It'll still need to be worked in before it's ready for fighting, but for now, we are all set. Pull off any little stragglers here. But as far as you can see, this blade is almost finished. Where did my...
Go.
So I took a layer of stabby foam and inserted it in here, just above the normal tip here.
Yoga mat foam.
And then put a second layer of yoga mat foam over that, making a nice wrapping for the box. Once the cover is on, it'll all look fairly flush and even.
And he's taping that down with a different tape. Some people use different tapes. Some people you'll see pictures and stuff where they'll have like a trident looking taping formation for the stabby tips. there are a lot of ways to do it. This is just one way that Cameron prefers.
Yeah, I like to use cloth tape. It doesn't hit quite as hard as some of the strapping tape. I also think it looks better.
And there's a little bit more tape and stuff, so it seems to hold a little better than sometimes than if you do it other ways.
Also, if you make a mistake with strapping tape, it is very unforgiving.
You're not wrong.
You get no redos. But with cloth tape, you can be a little more lackadaisical.
There's all that foam over there. Nope, that stuff's not for him.
So what I'm doing now is I'm using this cloth tape to kind of make the edge nice and flush. This is partially aesthetic, partially functional, and it's a thing not many people do, but I tend to like to try to do as far as the edge.
That is functional as of right now, correct? You could use it. I mean, we would test it to make sure that it's good.
It still needs a couple more layers of tape before it's technically functional as a stabby tip.
Which you will see him applying now.
Parker?
Ben.
All right.
Just basically right down the middle with that strip.
Make sure it's not going anywhere. And then the final step, some people tend to skip this. I think it's fairly important. Our very last step involves duct tape. The only part of the construction process I use duct tape in. Duct tape is useful in a lot of foam fighting stuff, but it's only at this point do I use duct tape.
For blue, single blue, or blue-green.
I'm going to take a bit of duct tape here on this side. And lay it down. It helps keep all of this foam, especially here at the tip where it's most likely to delaminate and compress poorly, fairly even and nice. It also keeps this strip of tape down. And I do just another.
In other words, it's more likely to keep your stabby tip working
It
well.
keeps the stabby tip and the rest of the sword all together and working.
Can you using that scissors by your feet?
Go for it, friend. All right, and now we have a finished functional sword. We're gonna get a cover on this and then test it out. But as far as anything is concerned, this sword is all done.